All right, guys, and welcome back to the Midfield 4 podcast. First episode in a few weeks for a few reasons, main one being the lack of football, really. But we're here today to sort of recap the Premier League season so far. Obviously, if you listen to our preview episode, this will make a lot more sense. We're going to go through who's impressed us so far, who's disappointed us so far, talk about things we got right, wrong, etc., etc. So I'll stop the waffle and get straight into it. Tay, how are you? How have you been?
Yeah, not too bad. Missing the football, I guess.
Are you?
No.
What did you say to us off camera?
No, I'm just putting the front on. I'm not missing the football. I'm loving it. I'm loving the football.
That's very fair. Matt, how are you? Bet you feel a bit differently, but...
Absolutely fantastic, mate. Loving the football. How are you?
Yeah, all good, all good. Demille, finally, how you doing?
Yeah, alright. I don't even watch football anymore, can't lie.
Hey.
I don't watch football anymore.
me neither.
I don't know
Yeah,
what
I forgot what it is, to be fair, at this point. I mean, by the time we just said off camera, by the time United next play in the league, it would have been a month, which is pretty mad. But yeah, hence the recap episode today. So I wanted to start with like a team of the season so far for the Prem. Obviously, some teams have only played like 6 games, some teams have played 7, so this is a bit like wild. But do like a 4-3-3 team of the season so far. Let us know what you think. So starting goal, I guess. Any suggestions for best goalkeeper so far this season? I have got a couple. Don't know if you
Danny
like
Ward.
right there.
the hell.
Allow the
So,
poor guy. Allow him.
Yeah, I feel bad for him.
Sanchez really good?
Yeah, best defensive record in the league.
Yeah. I think Pickford's been unbelievable as well. Rare I love as well. I'd probably edge it Pickford.
I was going to say Nick Pope. I know Newcastle haven't been great, but I think he's
Yeah.
done really well. I think he's one of the best signings so far, to be fair. I think he's already, like people said, he'd save him like 5-10 points a season. I feel like he already has saved them fair few because they haven't played the best. I mean, they've been unlucky at times, but I think him himself has played pretty well. But yeah, Sanchez as well, Raya, like you said.
Yeah, Nick Pope had his annual classic against Liverpool as well. Every time he's literally man of the match every time we play. He's so good.
Delic is a goalkeeper like that for every team, I swear.
I'm happy for Pope, and I've said this for years, and I feel like I'm only starting to really see it like it's like a widespread opinion now. And I'm not saying I'm ahead of the curve because I'm not. Because anyone with eyes can tell you Edison was not a great goalkeeper, but most clean sheets in the league again, probably going to win Golden Gloves. He's nowhere near my team, nowhere near.
Nah, that's fair. I did see that start earlier, and everyone was like going mad over it. And to be fair, could you name one? I'm not saying I've watched every City game, but could you name one say that Edison's actually made this season?
I don't even watch football no
That's fair.
You're asking the wrong person.
You've been classed for 5 years, one bad year, and it'll sink in eventually.
Yeah, well, I'll give
it. Yeah, I'm happy to go for Nick Pope as of defence. I think Cancelo's like a shoe-in. I saw like a team of the whole year, all league so far, and he was in it. So, and I don't disagree. So I think Cancelo for left back is pretty. Yeah. I don't think anyone's going to disagree with that. I don't know if there's any other shouts you want to throw out there.
Where are we putting him, left or right?
Left back.
Left back.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any other shouts that are worthy.
No, I'm happy. I'm happy for that. Been mediocre start from fullbacks this season, really, but are a few. So, yeah.
What about right back then? Any shouts for?
There's only one name. No, there's a few to be fair.
I'd say Ben White, if I'm being really honest. If I can put Ben White there.
I think between like one of my, I won't say Ben White just yet because I think everyone knows how much I love him. But I think Patterson deserves a big shout. I know Tay, you initially said you really liked the look of him
last season, and I've been here.
Well done, congrats for being ahead of the curve. I'm very proud of you. But he's been brilliant this season. Really impressed me. Really young, first season in the Premier League. Obviously, as you say, he joined last year, but injuries and such, many couldn't play. But he's just come into that Everton team and been really consistent and just pretty seamless transition really for that side. And I've just been really impressed with him defensively, offensively, or in possession. I think he's just a really, really nice player.
All of that for an hour ago, he was stretching off in the Scotland game.
Was he?
Dead serious.
Is it?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, so that might be him on the sidelines for a while. I'm not sure what Everton are going to do because I don't know why Coleman's still a Premier League player in fairness. So that would be a big loss if he's out for a while. But I want to throw Dallow's name as well. I think he's been great this season. Not sure if he's worthy of the actual team.
He really stepped up.
Yeah, like last year, a lot of people saying no better than Wan-Bissaka, but he has really stepped up this season. So fair play to him. He's looked a lot better. And you could see it in pre-season, to be fair, that he was going to be a big part of Ten Hag's sort of team. And he's been great so far. I think Trippier's been good as well, carried on his form from last season. So I don't know if there's any other names you want to throw out there, but
I mean James can go in there, but if I'm allowed to, I'd have Ben White.
Yeah, I mean,
James not as explosive numbers wise, but he is so good.
to be honest, with Ben White, not even like my bias or anything, I feel like it's a name thing with certain people, where they don't rate him as highly.
Yeah,
And
he's
obviously
so
that
good.
reputation, but like how much he's developed, like how quickly is it adapting is incredible. Like he was one of our best players last season as a right centre back. This season plays at right back, plays our half-first game, plays other tricky wingers. Just so good, really good option as well in possession for Saka. His defensive work's been incredible. His aerial game has been really, really good. I've just been incredibly impressed with him. I think he's absolutely brilliant. And Southgate, how you're leaving him out was bonkers.
Yeah, I don't know how he's
Southgate's
not getting in.
incredible.
I mean, I suppose you could argue he's not even playing centre back at the minute, but I would take him personally to the World Cup. I think he's a great option to have, but I suppose he's probably just going to say he's been playing right back, and we've got about 8 right backs.
I still think his profile is a centre back.
Yeah.
If we're going off this team, I want Ben White at right back.
It does say a lot how Tommy Asew's come back fit, and Ben White's kept his place, considering he's playing out of position. So yeah, I'm happy to go with him.
Yeah.
Dalot close second, but yeah, I'm happy to go with Ben White.
Dalot, I think definitely Dalot. I think the thing with Dalot as well is when you give a player like that, like it's so hard to judge a player when you just don't give them a chance. You see him come in occasionally, or you see him on loan at AC Milan, etc., and you see him slowly developing. But if he's not playing at United, and he's playing like the odd game, you're not going to see development from that sort of player. And you've instantly seen it this season when he's been given a run against a really good manager. So
I think the most impressive thing has been his defensive side, because we've all known that he's got good attacking ability. He can get down pitch. But defensively, last year he was very, very suspect. So to change that quickly and look really secure, always in the right position, or getting the block in, recovering well. Like, I'm really impressed, and he's definitely going on me 100%.
His profile is such a good one to have in that position as well. And I always bring this up. If you look at it, I don't know if you were at this game, Demille, but the Villarreal game last season might have been one of the worst performances I've ever seen.
It's horrendous.
Yeah, like in less than a year to turn it around like he has is very, very impressive. And shout out to Malacia as well, by the way. Can't believe I forgot to mention him for left back. Not over Cancelo, but he's been great. Yeah, we'll go with Ben White, right back. Sorry, I'm happy with that. Centre backs up next. I know Matt's going to mention one, so I'll come straight to you to wax lyrical about a certain Frenchman.
Definitely. Just goes without saying really how good he's been, but coming into, obviously people love talking about the Premier League and how much of a tough challenge it is, but he has really come in like a fish to water, is the saying, I guess. But yeah, he's been incredible aerially. I've honestly never seen a player as composed as him on the ball for his age. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, if you see that passage of play against Brentford, which leads to our third goal, Tony presses him, he just completely turns him, does a 1-2 when it creates an attack, and he's just so valuable to the team. Like, he's incredibly good. Like, I always knew he was really, really good, but I think a lot of people have been shocked by quite how good he is. And what I love as well, which is also testament to the fans, is he scores an own goal, which was unfortunate. Everyone's clapping him, everyone's singing his name, when he's doing good stuff. He was having a good game as well against Leicester.
You got to stop that chant, though.
Yeah, it's horrific.
Continue, it's unreal.
It's
if you're a rival fan, or any fan, to be fair, it's going to be a bit of a headache if you hear it for about 30 minutes straight. But I'm not complaining. Pretty catchy one, particularly for an away day or whatever. But yeah, he's been disagree, but scored an important goal as well against Brentford. Amazing. He's a massive set piece threat as well, which is also testament to how much we've improved with set pieces. But ultimately, yeah, he's just been absolutely incredible, and a very well-deserved France call-up. And I think it was Thomas Frank said as well that no doubt he'll be a French international. So yeah,
I am happy to probably throw him in, but there will be a couple of other names. I'll throw both the United boys in as well. I think Varane and Martinez have both been great. And I think it's testament to how poor we were in the first 2 games, and these two have come together, and we've won forward about since. Both their performances have been brilliant. I'd say Martinez probably edges it slightly. I think both of them definitely deserve a big shout, and to turn around that offence like that is really, really impressive. I think Martinez has proved a lot of people wrong, and I'm pleased to see. And like, as a character, the fans absolutely love him already, and it's hardly surprising because of how he is on and off the pitch. So
The chant is absolutely disgusting bad.
It is, however, it's got a bit of history, hasn't it, from all the way back to like Tevez, Heinze, etc. So I get it from that perspective, but Yeah, I see your point, but yeah, and Varane as well. I don't know where this thing has come from that he's been terrible in the Premier League. Because I think when he played last season, you could see our results with him on the pitch compared to not on the pitch. It's like night and day. And
he was still dreadful last year.
I don't think he was. I don't know where this was.
Dreadful. It was our best.
He was held to the most ridiculous standards ever, and he came in and he underperformed that.
He probably underperformed.
For a champion, for a Champions League winner, a World Cup winner, he was not good enough last year.
Yeah, he wasn't good enough, but he wasn't.
In my opinion.
I say Varane, it's always been just like call it availability, because he's been injured for most of his United career, first season anyway. But pair him up with a good centre back. I mean, look what you can do. He's just that very good centre defender. You know, he's a very good in the box defender as well. He makes the right challenges at the right time. He's very smart, knows the game, and they complement each other very well. I'm happy to put Saliba in, but I'd definitely have one of them two next to Saliba.
I'd probably edge Martinez just because he's new. But any other names that deserve to be thrown
Stones.
in?
Yeah,
Stones. Year in, year out, he's incredible, and he never gets his flower. Like, he sometimes gets his flowers by people, but he never gets his flowers because he plays for City or because he's English, whatever else. He's just absolutely amazing, and I think he's very high up there. I think as well, I'm not sure which one, to be honest, but I think Everton having the best or second best defensive record in the league needs a lot of recognition for where they were.
I think Cody's been really good this season.
Cody's been brilliant, to be fair. He proved me wrong, because I said there's no point signing him in a back four, but he's been really good. Same with Tarkowski, both in class.
So. Another out there shout, one of the most underrated players of the recent Premier League era, I think, Eric Dyer. He's so good year in, year out.
There's loads there. Anderson's been great at Palace. I want to say Collins until that madness against City, so I can't put him in now. But
you got brilliant.
Kilman as well continued his good form into this season. So there's been a lot of good performing centre backs. To be fair,
I'm happy to go. I want to go for either Martinez or Stones, but I'd say Martinez. I'd edge Martinez. But all them names, I think they're all worthy of a spot, really.
I mean, I'm happy to go with Saliba and Martinez at the back. So that's Nick Pope in goal. You've got Ben White, Saliba, Martinez, and Cancelo as the back four. So we're moving to like a midfield three. I'm pretty sure there's De Bruyne is going to be a shoe at his knees. He's been phenomenal this season.
The league's a shambles.
I think Xhaka's been amazing.
I say a shambles. It moves so quickly. Like, obviously, we're only this amount of time into the season, but you've gone, United and Arsenal having like 3 players out of a best back four, and they deservedly to be there. Do you know what I mean? But if I told you like 2 years ago, ahead of players like Liverpool defenders, Man City defenders, you find it ridiculous. You got. I don't even know what I'm trying to say, but you've got.
I think part of John Martin probably went Martinez over John Stones just purely because John Stones has been like so good for so long. Probably like the surprise factor of Martinez a little bit. I mean, anyone expected him to be quite this good.
I feel like the problem is
marginally better than Stones.
I think the problem is as well. I tweeted about this earlier, and I think the same happened with Romero when he joined Spurs as well. People just started jumping to him, slandering him, writing him off, and the way his personality is, the way he plays. People very quickly were like, this guy's really good. So they did a big U-turn and started rating him higher than he's playing essentially as well. I think he's been great, Martinez, but I feel like people will naturally, because they rated him so lowly before, overdo it and say like he's the best.
100%. It's like, obviously, if your player's getting slandered before he's even done anything by thousands, and then he goes on to be really good. It's just all the more sweet, isn't it? You almost support.
It's always going to happen.
This Nunes slander is making me feel bad for him. Like, I might have to take a heel turn, but
we'll move on to that. I know you've got a lot to say, but
he's not in this team.
No, I mean for
not quite. In narrowly misses.
Yeah, narrowly misses on.
We'll move on to midfield anyway. I think De Bruyne definitely goes in. I don't think there's much debate in there.
Xhaka goes in for me.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. Just quick word on De Bruyne though. We'll talk about a certain Norwegian in a bit, but a lot of people said, De Bruyne and Haaland together is going to be a cheat code. And I'm sat here thinking it's not that easy. It's not going to work like but it actually has. Like, it actually has so far. Those two together are just a joke. So De Bruyne definitely goes in for me. I'm definitely happy to give for Granit Xhaka as well. I think he's been superb. Matt, again, I'll come to you to speak about somebody that you spoke very highly about for forever. I've known you, to be fair. So good to see him finally getting a bit more widespread respect, I guess.
I think it's a weird one as well, by the way. The fact that it's almost like funny to put City players in because there's so many talented midfielders. Like before I even go on to Xhaka, obviously you boys know as well as anyone, but Eriksen has impressed me so much for United, and I think he has been one of the signings of the season. And it's just versatility and being able to play in such a deep role, but he could always play a forward ball, etc. Like his execution, his ball retention, like his defensive work, his positioning is just incredible. But yeah, on to Xhaka. I think it's just absolutely brilliant, man. Like the thing is with Xhaka is I feel like he'd never really been played to his strengths pre-Mikel Arteta. Arteta's come in, and I think people like to be clouded by the judgment of red cards or silly whatever, but I think it's easy to forget that Xhaka's never been sent off for a second yellow. He's been sent off for a straight red, 3 times, 4 times? Sure, 1 or 2 of them is daft, but like the City one, for example, is just pretty outrageous. Even the Swansea one, when you look back, is pretty crazy. The red against Liverpool was, a result of us pushing really high and him being the last man, which once again states, him playing in a further role, he doesn't have to be that player. And ultimately, you'd watch Xhaka this season, you wouldn't be like, this guy, isn't very mobile or anything, because you're seeing him tracking back and winning the ball with ease because he didn't have to cover as much distance. And all you see from him is the absolute best, which is an incredible technical version of him. His goal scoring side as well, his runs, his positioning is just probably his best attribute as well. Defensive positioning, even offensive as well. And obviously the ball against Brentford, his passing range in general. But yeah, it's just amazing to see Xhaka play this well, and obviously great to see him get this appreciation. But I think he's been this good since Arteta's come in, but obviously even better since playing in a further role.
Yeah, for sure. And you mentioned Eriksen there briefly. I really want to bang the drum for him to be in the team, but there is so many options in this position. I think the 2 Brighton boys, Gross and McAllister, there's got to be some Brighton representation in this team, considering how well they've started. I think João Palhinha as well, we'll talk about him in a bit, but he's been phenomenal like we expected in that midfield. Despite him somehow getting a suspension already for 5 yellow cards, which is pretty mad. I saw that the other day. But yeah, I'm happy. I think De Bruyne has definitely got to go in. I'll be happy to put Xhaka in. I really want to put everything in, but I've got to put a bit of Brighton representation in there. I mean, I know Gross has been playing further forwards. You could squeeze him into the front 3, but there is also a lot of options in those positions. So, I mean, before we make a decision, is there any other names that we want to throw out there?
Iwobi's worth a shout, I think.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Completely agree.
And not Onana as well from Everton, but that's what I said by there about the City point. Because you still got Rodri, who's been like so good, and got Gundogan as well, who's been so good. So it's Peyton Bernardo as well. So it's a bit painful.
It's so difficult to do at this early stage of the season, like honestly.
What an underrated shout, maybe, don't know, but I've really been impressed with McTominay.
100%. Proved a lot of people wrong this season.
He's proven
not over a season.
He hasn't proved, but he's proven me wrong. He's getting more involved. He's not shying from the ball. His position is way better. I don't know what. Maybe it's Eriksen next to him. Maybe it works. But his interceptions are great. He's very tenacious. He's
a
nowhere near Xhaka level or Eriksen's level right now. But he's actually been playing well. So props to McTominay.
I mean, I'd imagine he will eventually get displaced in the team by Casemiro, but I think anyone that said he's got no use in the squad, that's just a load of rubbish, like I've always said, and that's proven it so far this season, and he has been great. So are we happy to go with De Bruyne, Xhaka and Gross in the midfield? Or
for Brighton representation, yeah. Gross
I feel like you
so
can't
good as
make
well.
That's bias, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a tough one because generally speaking, the 3 City midfielders could so easily.
Yeah, true. No, we'll have Gross. He's scored so many big goals.
It's a bit boring if we just go for like Rodri, And I think the other 2 have been of that level, particularly.
Yeah, we'll have Gross as well.
There you go then. So
misconduct.
Finally, the midfield 3. We'll address the elephant in the room. Obviously, Haaland's going to be the striker after, is it 11 goals now or 12 goals in 7 games? I mean, like I said a minute ago, like everyone said, it was just going to be so easy for him to slide in and score so many goals with the best, playmaker in the world behind him. but I didn't think it would be that easy, but it really seems to be for him. So I think without a doubt he goes up top. As for the wingers, I'm going to biasly throw Marcus Rashford in there. I think he's been great so far this season. So unfortunately, he's now picked up an injury. I hope it's not too serious, but I'm going to biasly throw his name in there. Don't know if anyone else has got any shouts or.
Oh, I want to put a shout for Maddison. Yeah.
Maddison?
Yeah.
Really?
In the front three.
Yeah.
He's been decent, but.
No, Maddison's been great. Yeah.
Tell me a right-sided player that's been better than this season.
Bernardo, maybe.
Yeah.
If you're questioning Maddison in the front three, you can't question better. You can't then go up.
No, I'm not questioning Maddison in the front three. I just don't know if he's. Well, then again, you are right. I mean, there's been two.
No, I think he has been of that level.
Like, do you really want to put Salah in there? He's got the best goals and assists output, but I wouldn't have him in there.
I love Salah. I don't love Salah, but Salah.
I feel like there's an obvious name we're forgetting. Like, there's definitely what's his name on the left?
It's a weird.
Zaha has to be in there.
It's a weird start.
I think Gordon's been great.
Yeah, Zaha, I'd be happy with Zaha. Zaha's been brilliant this season.
I mean, I think Jesus has been unbelievable, but it's tough with strikers. Obviously, Kane as well. So.
Yeah, Jesus could go.
Could we just put Mitrovic out wide because he deserves the recognition? Because he's been brilliant.
And Tony,
yeah, it's been a lot. It's been a year of strikers this year, to be fair, which it hasn't been over recent times. But yeah,
good selection in FPL coming about. I'll see if there's any others as well. Though.
I mean, I'm happy to go with Zaha on the left, but then we're going to need another one. Don't know if there's any other shouts put there, or we could just put Jesus or Mitrovic in the front three.
I think one of Jesus, Kane, or Mitrovic, and if we're going balance, then Jesus makes sense. So yeah, don't mind really any of those. Or just change formation and go for a 2 up front, and then go with Kane or Mitrovic.
Do you know what? My vote's going in for Mitro because everyone wrote him off before the season even started. So I feel
like what I said about Brighton, it is the same with Fulham because they're brilliant as well. So I'm happy to shut Mitrovic up there.
I want big Mitro.
This team's never going to play, so it doesn't really matter.
Fulham have actually played in some big games this season as well.
Yeah, they had a tough start.
They've been so good, yeah.
And Tay, we need to have words about Marcus Silva in a minute, but so that's the final team. We've got Nick Pope in goal. We've got Ben White, Saliba, Martinez, and Cancelo at the back. Then we've got Xhaka, Gross, and De Bruyne in midfield with Mitrovic, Haaland, and Zaha up front. So let us know what you think of that. Obviously, we'll revisit that later in the season. Next thing I want to talk about.
Football fell off, man. Since last year. Yeah, I'm down so bad.
I might have to put Dom Solanke in the front three for Liverpool representation, but also for Bournemouth appreciation. Obviously, we'll get into them. But, I
like Bournemouth.
So no we probably just touched on these a little bit, but players that have exceeded expectations so far this season. I mean, we've just touched on a couple. I think Eriksen's definitely one, and that's probably on my behalf that I didn't expect. I didn't expect anything from him, but I thought he would just be there as Bruno's alternative. But he started every single game in the league, and for me, he's been our player of the season. So, I mean, we just spoke about him then, but he's been absolutely fantastic. You could say the same about Martinez, but, I did expect him to perform well, but people just stupidly wrote him off after 2 games. But that's just the culture these days. Yeah, literally all of United's team, you could say after how he started, but I'm not going to sit here and talk about that for forever long. But, I think Cody's another one that we just mentioned that I didn't really think the signing made sense, and I suppose that's why scouts him more than me. But he's been fantastic for Everton this season. I don't know if there's any more.
I think he's the definition of it, to be honest. He's been so impressive.
I mean, I'm not just talking about new signings here. There can just be like other players as well you could throw in. Maybe Harvey Elliott. We didn't expect too much from him this season. He's played a fairly big role for Liverpool. I mean, if you want to have some Liverpool representation in this video,
no, we don't deserve it.
In a positive light.
We don't deserve it.
No one.
No.
Sorry, can I just bring a quick news flash that Scotland beat Ukraine 3-0 in the 70th minute with a 70th minute goal on 80th and then 87th. There was 0-0 not long ago.
Thanks for that. Nations League updates.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
Ryan Fraser 2 assists. Don't wait on him.
He's been bad for a while now, hasn't he, Ryan Fraser?
Ben White right back. Didn't expect.
If you watched football last year, you'd know this to know.
No, I don't watch football, mate.
Midfield against Norwich. You know what? One player we haven't mentioned at all. One player we haven't mentioned at all is Højbjerg. I think not just this season, he's been consistent, probably ever since Conte's come in, and I think it's another Xhaka type situation. I don't think he's been as good as Xhaka, which could be biased again, but I don't think he has. But I think he's a really underrated player. Not just, his goal contributions, because that's not that important. Obviously, it's more important for the role he plays now. But I think he's just a really important player for Spurs, and he plays really well. And obviously, displacing Basuma at the moment, I'm sure Basuma will come into the team sooner rather than later. But that is still, credit to how good he has been.
Yeah, I think people are calling for Bentancur to be dropped for Basuma, but then he got a goal and an assist against Leicester. So I'm not sure if that's going to be the case. But yeah, that's a good shout, Højbjerg. I'll always remember when Mourinho signed him and everyone thought he was going to be the winner that was going to drag Tottenham to the Premier League title, though, and that's just makes me laugh. But I think he fell off a bit after that, but he has really got back to his best under Conte, which is good to see. I think you could argue, like I said, João Palhinha. I wouldn't say he's exceeded expectations because we expected a lot from him.
I think you could say Alvarez from City as well. Without Haaland, he'd definitely be starting, and every time he's been on the pitch, he's produced, or he's definitely made impact on the game. So unfortunate that Haaland's been banging in the goals, and he started every single game. But Alvarez is really, really dangerous, really, really tricky. He's definitely pushing for a starting spot.
Yeah, he looks promising. I was hoping
he'd start for us,
Start for you? Wow.
Yeah, definitely.
Start for us as well. So I think he started for most teams in the league. But yeah, there's been a couple. Mitrovic, like we just said. I mean, can't remember what I said about him on the preview show, but I was sort of in the middle. I thought he'd do all right, but I didn't think he'd do as well as this. But he has been brilliant, and no wonder he scored 44 goals. I mean, I know it's the Championship, but he's got so much better since he was last in this league. And I mean, Fulham as a whole, you could say, as a team, have massively exceeded expectations. I think we all put them to get relegated.
They've had a horrible start as well in terms of fixtures. They played Liverpool, they played Arsenal, they played Tottenham.
Yeah, they've done really, really
could have
well.
Played Chelsea as well, but obviously that game got postponed. So.
And they're 6th or 7th in the league at the minute, which is just credit to them. But
their character as well for a team, like often a relegation threatened team or a newly promoted team, they go 2-0 down or they go 1-0 down, and it's a bit, not very great for them. But they showed character against Forest to go from 1 behind to win 3-2 or 3-1 even at a point. So.
Yeah, I mean, Forest are one that have massively disappointed, which is a decent segue onto players who have disappointed this season. Might as well come to you on this one, Tay, if you want to throw a couple of names up there.
Players disappointed. All of them, man. Like, I don't
Do you want to have your rant for a minute? Or are you not?
I feel like I need to. I feel like this has been
I'll get some popcorn.
All right, I'm not going to go on because who cares? No one wants to listen to me just cry about it. Because I don't know where our problem lies. Everyone says, "Oh, it's on midfield." Blah 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 blah. Just no one's good at football in that team. That's it. There's no way.
Jay Spearing, come on.
And it's like, Jay Spearing. It's like people. The most frustrating thing for me is we'll play awful and we'll nick a win against Newcastle or something. Right, which we deserve. That's the only game we probably deserve to win this season, and we've still been underwhelming, other than arguably the 9-0 Bournemouth one. But we'll put that to the side because Bournemouth aren't a real team.
The disrespect on that.
That's harsh, yeah.
They are a pub side, aren't they?
They're doing all right. They're almost above you in the league, aren't they?
Well, yeah, it says a lot, and we beat them 9-0. The season's not.
To be fair, they played the three best teams in the league. Over,
we are not in that big three.
Or like obviously the top two, and then I'm chucking us in because I'm kind of shameless, but also at the moment. And then they've played Wolves. They drew 1-1. They played Newcastle 1-1 at St James's, one of the hardest fixtures you can have. Drew 1-1. They took the lead as well, and it was only a penalty, which I think it was a bit dodgy. It was a handball, which was the only reason that was 1-1, and then. They beat Villa opening day, which doesn't really count because every relegated promoted team does. But
so basically, all you're telling me is they've dropped points and then beat Stevie G.
No, any team which isn't the top three, they've done very well against. Considering
Liverpool are back because they've beaten a swashbuckling mid-table side in Bournemouth.
We're not. I didn't celebrate
in
a
all
single goal.
In all seriousness, who are the? I know they've all been bad, but who have been the most disappointing players this season for you?
Oh, man. Gomez, I actually quite like. Van Dijk, I don't think he's been that bad, but I feel like he's been bad enough. Trent doesn't look arsed. Do you know what I mean? I saw a stat the other day. Do you know this calendar year, we're now in, nearly end of September, he's got 2 assists this calendar year.
Really? What on the Premier?
2, yeah.
Oh.
Crazy. All right. Robertson, I don't want to say he tries because that's bare minimum. Henderson, this start of this season, oh my God. I've no opinion about it. Like, I'm an advocate for Henderson. Like, he's a great servant, and I think he was one of England's better players, one of our better players, even a few years ago. But awful player. I don't think Salah's necessarily been bad, just quiet. That's about it. Firmino's been awful, but he's got like 8 goals and assists or something, so he doesn't look that bad. But he's just not. He's just not very good.
What about 90 million man?
Who?
90 million man.
Look, I don't rate him, but I don't think he's given a big enough sample size here to actually judge it. Well, yeah, like other than the Palace,
he has only played about 4 games, hasn't he?
Yeah.
I know, but you can tell a lot in 4 games. He stinks.
What you can tell though with Nunes is he has created. The thing is, to be fair, when I watched him, I was like, this guy actually gets on the end of a lot of chances, which is important.
He's gonna score goals, I think. I don't think he's gonna score goals, but
He's a striker, mate.
Okay.
He's a striker, of course.
How many goals has your striker got this season?
Huh? We will speak Ronaldo.
Yeah, we don't claim Ronaldo at this point. Yeah. I love him, but come on.
Right, that is sad. Anyway.
No, that's harsh.
I think we'll get a lot of chances. We just need the team ticking again. Obviously, I think we need Konate back because I think he's probably our best defender now. It says a lot. Obviously, Thiago, keep him fit. God forbid Henderson's back after the international break. But yeah, we'll be all right. Diaz has been all right. I do like Diaz, and I see people giving him stick at he only scores when they win. So, well, when we're playing awfully, I don't know what else to do.
That's such crap. Who said that?
No, Diaz is clutch.
I've scored the equalising goal against Palace, and then obviously the goal against Napoli. Which
I know this. I don't know what you're telling me. I know this.
No, I know.
Like, he's one of them all bark, no bite, just because he's aggressive and he's the only one that looks arse this season. So fair play, him and Elliott. And I wouldn't say Elliott's a good start to the season, but he's not right for that position he's playing in, and he's doing a decent job. But the thing that's really annoying me the most is James Pearce, our leading journalist today, the correspondent for The Athletic, talked about how we had Bellingham on trial when he was 12 and at Anfield and how much he's going to cost. We're 7 games into the season. Why are we doing this? Why are we but Bellingham this? Why are we pulling the curtain over? This is not good.
I don't get that because people are so convinced you want to get him next summer. But who's saying FSG and Klopp are going to want to spend 150 million euros on a midfielder?
Yeah,
every summer is next summer for Bellingham for Liverpool, I swear.
Yeah, it has been for a few years.
But who says that's actually going to happen though? Like, is it even 50% likely to happen?
I think if you can get him for around under 100 million, I think there's like a 70% chance we do sign him. But I'm not even that asked. Do you know what? It's getting to the point where I hope we sign him, then get relegated or something, because we need to prove a point to these people. Why are we waiting so long? And okay, that's the last thing I'm going to say on Bellingham because I can't do it. Like, I don't want to let him catch strays, but yeah, we're just not good enough. I think we'll be all right. I think we'll get top 4, but we need to play a game where we think, the performance was better today, and not just nick goals. Because it's getting to the point where how many games we played this season? 6? Is it 6 or 7?
7? No, 6.
Yeah,
6.
we were meant to play Chelsea.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's 100% true, but I can guarantee you in 4 of those games we haven't had a shot before the 60-minute mark when we start making subs. It's backwards, and I gave the big Klopp out tweet a few weeks ago, and my head's gone. It's been gone ever since. I didn't even watch the Ajax game in the Champions League, if I'm being totally honest.
Gave the big Klopp out.
You've been borderline Klopp out for points. I'm
just tired, man. Right, get me off this because I'm waffling.
He wants shiny toys.
I feel like I'm drunk and no one else is. I'm around the table in the beer garden. Just take me off Liverpool.
I know how it feels.
Take me off Liverpool, man.
It's bad that you just don't really know what to say.
It's like I need to cry, but I can't anymore. So it's just coming out like
Who have you got next?
No, that club
I don't even know. We was meant to be Chelsea. Who have we got?
I'm sure it's Brighton. Yeah,
I think you might be right.
I don't know. Do you know what? I don't even remember the score in the Merseyside derby. Was it 1-0?
Never know.
Oh, yeah, we didn't score. Right, take me off.
Could have lost that as well.
Neil Mapai banged one in. Lovely finish. Week later, and then just
Connor Cody's. Yeah.
Wow.
Get me off. Move on.
I'll put you out of your misery.
Thank you.
I want to do a little section on things we got right, things we got wrong, based on sort of the prediction episode. DeMille, obviously you missed this one, so I'm gonna have to take your word for it. What you thought at the start of the season. I think we got right. I'll say I got it right because I said Leicester were going to be poor, but I think I put them like 10th, and they're bottom of the league after 6 games or 7 games with no wins. They've just been hammered 6-2 at Spurs, despite Spurs not playing particularly well. I mean, I knew it would be bad for Leicester, but I didn't think it'd be this bad. And Matt, I know you were tempted to put them even lower than I think you did, in about 13th or 14th. I mean, they started just horrendously, and there's a lot of calls for Brendan Rodgers to go. So I don't think they can afford to sack him, is what I've heard. But what do Leicester do? I mean, how bad have they been for a start? And like, what's gone wrong?
as sad as it is, right? They need to either get, I forgot his name, or get a free agent keeper off the market. Because I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be disrespectful or anything, but he is a hologram. Like the Bentancur goal, I couldn't believe my eyes. Like, as a keeper, the bare minimum
couldn't believe
is you're not like 10, like you're either right in front of the keeper, in front of the attacker's face, closing him down, making things hard, less time, depending on situation, obviously, or you're on your line like a certain Spaniard, and like you're trying to give yourself the best chance of saving a shot. For the Bentancur goal, I can't describe it. He's in the middle. He quite literally is. Even the Son goal.
I think that. Sorry, talking about the goalkeeper and stuff. I think that all falls down to their business. They sold their club captain and they're one of their best players like a week before the season or however close it was.
No, let's not get it twisted either. Schmeichel was just as bad last season.
I wouldn't say just as bad.
No, he's not. Wasn't this bad?
It was a sabotage job, I'd say.
And they sold Fofana X amount of games into the season. They signed one player. Who was it?
Foden?
No, it's like 2 Yeah. And you put
Smithy goalkeeper as well.
Oh, get him in.
Come on, it's on Alex Smith.
Yeah, he's there.
Yeah.
Oh mate, get him in.
Anyway, no, they got Everson on the bench, and he was actually decent in Championship last season. So surely it's only a matter of time until he gets a game.
Well, I don't know, but this is what I mean. Like, they're messing around. As bad as Brendan Rodgers is, as much of a bottler I think he is. You've given him. You've sold 2 of his better players, like very close and during the season. You've given him a Championship goalkeeper. A defender whose first game was it Tottenham away? Were they away? Yeah, they were away. His first game, Tottenham away. Again, injuries and big players just inconsistent again. So I do think Rodgers is partly to blame, but like Maddison said in that interview, like the players have got to look at themselves a bit better. But then again, manager picks the team. Like, how bad has Ndidi been for a long time now?
Yeah.
Like,
he's the type of player who never get that,
Yeah, how many players do you look at in that team and think, like, oh yeah, like I don't know, like Maddison, I'd argue is almost a world-class player. Tielemans, as much as I don't like him, I think he's a good player in that team to stand out. Harvey Barnes definitely. Who else? Would you argue? Patson Daka. Yeah, like
Iheanacho. I think they have to play an Iheanacho like Daka partnership, really, and
it's just a shambles. As soon as it hits, there's Brendan Rodgers has always struggled with a fluent defensive structure, and the tools he's working with at the minute are absolutely awful. Like, I don't think he walked because he's waiting for this payout, and I don't, because apparently I've heard it's somewhere like 20 million or something. I'm not sure.
I think he's the 3rd or 4th highest paid manager in the league.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
And I think he served them well, won them an FA Cup, but I think the time's up. And I don't think it is his fault. Not enough money, sold key members of the squad way too late into the season, weren't replaced adequately, and the squad's aging, not been refreshed. Like I was saying earlier, you can't stand still, can you? And that's exactly what they've done. They had a real chance, and they've stood still. And yeah, I think they'll pay for it this season. But I don't think they're going to go down. I don't think they'll go down.
If they're 18th in March, they'll sack Rodgers and somebody else will keep him up. But I do think Rodgers. I don't think Rodgers is fully at fault, but I do think I don't think there's much point sacking him. To be honest, I don't think they're going to go down even if he stays. But
you know what though?
Maybe
One
wait till
thing
the
I
end of the
have
season
to
and properly
address.
refresh.
One thing I have to address with Leicester is, to be honest, I watched their game against Spurs. They were very good. First half, they were really dominant. Should have scored a few, and they did. But you can't win football games or expect to win football games when you concede a minimum of 3 goals a game, whether that be the keeper or whether that be like you hardly see a team worse at defending set pieces than them.
It's like 13-14 Liverpool, isn't it? Just without Luis Suarez.
The set pieces is actually like a joke. Like it really is a joke. Like, I was listening to I think I was listening to this game on 5 Live and watched the highlights back later, and they had the caller come on after, and they said that free kicks are literally like penalties now, and it literally does feel like that.
I promise you, I've never felt that more under a manager than Brendan Rodgers. And I don't know if this is a consistent theme. I don't know if he can't coach them or he doesn't have the right people with him. But genuinely, in the Brendan Rodgers era, penalties were like 20-yard free kicks. I promise you, there was, I'd say, a 30% chance of them scoring from it, which was absolutely vile. And that was, we didn't really have a good keeper until we had Alisson in as well. So I know it sounds silly. I know what Leicester fans feel, and it's terrifying. It is literally the Liverpool team, Brendan Rodgers' Liverpool team. Like
I do get with just final thing on Leicester and Rodgers before we move on, but I do get people who say, "Oh, he deserves time because he's shown them loyalty and he's done well for them and stuff." But I feel like when it gets to this point, he's just at the point of no return. There's no way he turns this around.
Like, he's already had time though. Like the time,
last season wasn't great just because they put a couple of wins together at the end of the season. Like I said many times on this podcast, papering over the cracks, a false finish. Like if he's still in charge in a year's time and they've rebuilt the squad and they're looking on the upcharge again, I hold my hands up and say I was wrong, but I would be absolutely stunned. I just think he's at the point of no return now. And
where's their money gone though?
I guess they've overspent in the past. I think that's what it is, but I don't know what on. I can't think of the life of me when they've had a massive go spend wise, and also they've recruited money for the likes of Kante, Mahrez.
They're going to lose Tielemans on a free as well, unless they sell him in January.
Considering when he was in his pomp, he was probably like a 60-70 million pound player. So that's
even this summer though. Like I think they could not do without him per se, but I think they probably need to change their setup, and that would be without playing him. I think they'd need to go to like just go back to basics really. Go with 2 up front, pretty much. I don't. If they did like a 4-4-2, for example, not saying they will, but I feel like that's the type of thing they should do at this point. Just be far more defensively sound because that problem. Yeah, because ultimately, right, you watch Leicester, you think, well, normally they don't even play well either, right? Their thing is literally terrorising XG, but you watch them play well, and they'll concede 2 or 3 goals automatically. It doesn't matter who they play or when they play, they'll concede 2 to 3, and you can't win football games with that.
Yeah, just purely because they can't defend set pieces, can't defend at all, and they've got Danny Ward in goal. That's literally it. But yeah, we've got to move on from Leicester. Another thing that we pretty much all got right was Villa, and they've started the season poorly as well. I know they got a win on Friday night, but they just don't look good, and I don't know what the situation is.
It's one of the worst games of football I've ever watched.
Thankfully I didn't watch it.
I don't understand why, like the logic though behind why would you put a Villa Park versus Southampton, which is notorious for being just dead, versus a newly promoted clash on a Friday night at Nottingham Forest, which is notorious for being a very loud ground, at Fulham, who scored quite a few goals this season, and Forest, who have leaked a lot as well. Surely, just logically, you'd go for that game. Like it's bastard.
Yeah, I do agree.
Stevie's box office, mate.
But you might as well copy what we said pre-season and paste it in here because it's literally all been spot on. Like they just don't look like a proper football team. A lot of their players, for me, are overrated, and none of them have really played that well at the start of the season. And I went in on them massively pre-season, so I'm not going to do it again, but they just don't look good. Obviously, bit of pressure took off by a draw against City and a win against Southampton, but I'd be very surprised if they kicked on massively from this. And they have got a good, decent fixture on coming up, so we'll see, but I just can't see it personally.
Where did you put them in your positions?
I think I had them like 11th or 12th, but I mean, I probably should have put them lower.
Generous, yeah.
A lot of their fans, they're like European standard, which is just pretty mad, but yeah, Villa not great. I don't know if there's any other things that we got pretty much spot on. And you can't really say that because we said Bournemouth will be nailed on to go down. I still think they will, but they've started a lot better than we expected. As for things we've got wrong, I mean, Fulham was one that we mentioned earlier. I already touched on it, but they've started the season well. And Tay smiling in the camera, I'm going to have to ask you that Tay did say that Marco Silva and Scott Parker were the two worst managers in the league. One's been sacked, so we got that right. But Silva,
there's still time.
Yeah, but you got to say he's got them playing well. They've had a hard.
Still time to do wrong. You're a hater.
They look good in attack. He's doing well, and if you want to throw in the towel, feel free.
They've got a demigod up front. I would manage Fulham well. You know, that man.
Don't have any outlets though, like good outlets.
Mitrovic is keeping that man's lights on, and Marco Silva. I will see.
You can't see Mitrovic is keeping a man's lights on that sits sixth in the Premier League when we all predict them to get relegated.
Their fixture list as well. We have.
I'm telling you, mate. Marco Silva. I'll see you down the job centre at the end of the year.
I'll tell you what, right? I know you're trolling, but watch even like any of Fulham's games this season. Or I mean, I just remember watching it live against Arsenal. I was so impressed with how compact and how hard they made it for us. We're a bit sloppy, a bit off it, final third. But like how compact, they completely congested the middle, which is a big problem for a lot of teams as well.
They only scored because one of your players had a bozo moment. And
I mean,
big
you're not wrong. But this is Fulham coming to the Emirates, we've...
Not the Emirates.
Oh, not Anfield.
You're going there in a few weeks.
The most impressive thing about Fulham...
Diogo Jota will still somehow manage to catch it.
Yeah.
The most impressive thing about Fulham for me has been, sure, like they've been amazing compact, and you expect them to be compact. And any newly promoted side, that should be, how it goes in the Premier League. But the transitioning from when they go from defense to attack is really, really nice. Like I love the Andres Pereira. That's a very smart buy. Not a great fit for United at all, but in Fulham where he gets space and transitions, he can really flourish, and the balls that he picks out sometimes are actually perfection. And yeah, they just look like a well oiled team, and I don't know what Tay thinks about. I don't know why he has an agenda on this.
I've seen it before, man. I've seen it before. I'm a veteran of this game.
He's doing well.
We're gonna do updated predictions in a minute. So I want to see whether you think they're staying up or not. Don't say yeah. We'll see in a minute. Two more teams I want to touch on. One have massively underperformed, and that's West Ham. We all put them in seventh in the table comfortably, and they've started all right in Europe, but league-wise, I mean, that loss at Everton was like alarming for me. Set off massive alarm bells, and they have started poorly. We did speak about it a few weeks back, and since then they haven't really picked it up at all. So I think I'd be very surprised if they clawed it back to seventh now. I don't think they'll have any relegation worries, but I mean, they brought in a lot of big names. I mean, they need time to settle. Like Paqueta has barely started 2 games. They got Cornet in as well. He's barely started yet. He's not been given much of a chance.
They're both awful, though.
That's so really.
Yeah, I'm taking my hating tendency.
What did you say?
All you've done this podcast is just hate.
What did he say?
He said I love it, a beautiful game. Cornet is not a good player.
I didn't like him at Lyon at all, but he impressed me more at Burnley.
Scored that good goal against City in the Champions League, so I'll let him off. But yeah, Paqueta is one of them Twitter flavour of the week players. He will not cut this league.
That might be the case, but I don't know how you could say that. Yeah, that's an interesting shout, but I think that was his first start against Everton. Didn't look great.
I feel like people want to force that narrative.
Did not. To be honest. It's just not cut out for it, man.
It's just the Premier League. You're not coming in from France dominating. The hard Premier League.
He got clamped by a Jusagana Gay from France.
Yeah, respect him.
I do.
We don't respect him, actually. We don't respect him. I'll take that back. But what about Scamacca then? Is he on floor watch as well?
Nah, he's
got a beautiful
he's a proper striker like me. I don't know how Antonio's still getting minutes.
Scamacca started in the league a couple of times and not done much, but he don't know.
I think that's harsh.
We'll give him
I think that's harsh.
I
think whenever he's played, he's looked a lot. He's looked like someone West Ham are missing. He's always had like a small impact on the game, but not really had enough time to.
He's just been overthinking.
I do feel like Antonio and Scamacca would actually like complement each other. I know David Moyes plays this a very certain way, but You know, a lot of the times you watch Antonio and he's running around like a headless chicken. I don't know, and I don't mean that.
Point to try and change it up a little bit. I don't know.
I don't know.
Everton, you know, they've been alright this season, but they hadn't won a game before that, and West Ham were pretty terrible. I think Everton were the best side by miles, but.
Let's not make mistakes about this as well. This is the first season, you know, West Ham fans have complained about investment for a long while, and this is the first season they have actually dug their heels in and spent good money, you know, considering what they want to be. And it's the one season they've underperformed quite a lot. And I think obviously one reason for that is underperforming players. And I think another reason for that, not only is it stubbornness, but it's also stubbornnness to change what clearly isn't working. Like, again, Moyes is very set in his ways, you know, very pragmatic and stuff. But you just, they need to experiment. And I think, well, the thing is, I really like the idea of like a Rice, Paqueta, Fornals type dynamic. But
Rice has been I'll need to watch my language, but Rice has been a 2-pack of ass this year. He is not, you know, that
that's
price tag.
So harsh again.
That price tag that's floating around his head. I wouldn't touch it. But I wouldn't touch it.
We talk about an actual fraud. I don't want to be too harsh, but how bad is Souček, by the way? Wow.
Yeah, they're Czech Republic players. I don't know what they were giving them, but they're from Czech Republic.
Everyone was like, yeah, they're amazing.
They're from Czech Republic, aren't they?
Yeah.
I need to be careful.
Because I'm a 21-year-old bloke sat in his room recording a podcast, whereas he's a Premier League footballer, but he really is not good. Like,
nah, I don't know what it was.
He did play well for the first 6 months.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Do you reckon he just thought, I need to hustle him in the Premier League now? No. Now he just thinks he's made it.
I think the thing is with Souček. I don't even know why I'm giving a serious answer to that. The thing is with Souček is it's a typical thing of Twitter or social media, whatever, overrating a player because they score goals in a position they're not meant to score goals in.
It's FPL, man. That's it.
It's like a Fellaini without any sort of anything Fellaini had, bar goals and height and aerial and stuff. It's once the goals went away. Yeah, I know. I don't want to disrespect Fellaini. But no. Ultimately, once the goals went away for Souček, you kind of see his limitations massively. Obviously, a type of player who hides for the ball. He's not good on the ball. He's a liability. He's one to be got at. He's a pressing trigger. Like he's not the guy. I think it's been clear for a while, to be fair. But I think it is quite evident that West Ham do need to drop. I've seen a few say Dowles, I think his name is. Flynn Dowles.
Flynn Dowles,
yeah.
Good last year in the Championship.
Yeah, he looked good last year, but he's not really had a look in. But yeah, this is not a hating podcast. We will move on from that. The other team I want to talk about was Forest, but I'll tie that into our updated predictions. So I want to hear a top relegation, top 7 to end the show.
So just speak about Jesse Lingard real quick, just before you do that.
Yeah, not been good, has he?
He's just getting his bag, man.
Just posting.
He's only got a year on his contract. Surely you'd have more of like a emphasis to want to perform.
No, because he's not going to be playing Championship football next year. He's
but say, obviously he will leave regardless, probably. I mean, if he has a terrible year this year, who says that anyone's going to want to pick him up on like anywhere near that money?
He'll get picked up, won't he?
You reckon? He has been dreadful. He's already been dropped out of the team, though. He's like their biggest name. He's already been dropped out of the team.
West Ham will stick out the olive tree like they always do.
He's got Premier League experience.
Like they always do.
He'll find a move to like next year's newly promoted team, probably.
Yeah, when Blackburn come up, they'll pick him up.
Blackburn. I'm sure they could do better than him.
Anyway, long story short, I don't say I got it wrong because I put him just avoiding the drop. People had him, not necessarily us, but some people had him very, very high because, you know, on what basis? This was never really going to be like, they weren't going to be amazing. They were always going to be in a relegation battle, but they have been awful. And I don't want to be too reactionary, but there's no way I'm not picking them in my updated bottom 3.
The problem is, though, I think the problem with Forest is it's hard to, you know, like for one, you feel sorry for them, and for another is tough. Like losing 13 players, I think it is they lost. Like I get signing 23 is absolutely crazy. But at the same time, when you lose 13 players for a newly promoted team, you look at even like Fulham doing really well or Bournemouth doing well this season, you've got the same sort of players.
Yeah.
But Forest haven't managed to. Obviously, that's loans with Spence, Garner, Keenan Davis, a few others. So it's pretty brutal for them. And I think maybe they adapt later on, but it is incredibly worrying to quite how bad. And one more thing as well, Niakate getting an injury was tough, but I don't know what they were playing at, thinking of McKenna and those type of players not getting a quick centre half in. I think that was a real big mistake.
Yeah, for sure. I do anticipate that improve, but based on what I've seen, I can't predict like a Southampton or someone to go down over them right now. But then again, I think Bournemouth is going to go down as well. Like Tay said, now I'm not saying they're a pub side, but they still haven't got a permanent manager, and so it depends who they go for in that sense as well.
Have you seen the players are actually? I think I saw an article saying they're vowing for him to be the manager.
If they're not, with all due respect, right? If they're pointing him, they're down. Like, how many times have we seen this happen and it doesn't work? It's not like we're in April either, and we can carry on the momentum like Burnley tried to do with Mike Jackson. But we're literally in September. They're gonna have to go for a permanent manager. But yeah, I've got to say Bournemouth and Forest at the minute. I'm not quite sure for the third team. I don't know if any of you guys disagree with those two, but maybe Forest would have stayed out. But from what I've seen, there's no way I can say they're not going down.
You know what? It's so hard to judge though, because like a team like Villa and Leicester could so easily be dragged in. But it's a question of how good is the league with other teams, and for two is how bad does it get for them.
Where did we come to last time on Ted Lasso's Leeds?
I put them to go down.
Yeah, because they've had a bit of a dodgy start, haven't they?
They're 11th, 2 wins, 2
I wouldn't say dodgy is too fair.
I'm gonna backtrack. I'm not saying they're gonna come like top half, but I'm not gonna put them to go down now.
You had Leeds in the top half?
No, I put them to go down.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah, I had them in 18.
I put them top 4. No, I put them like 15.
So does anyone disagree? Does anyone want
to... Right now, I think when you watch him play, you can't not have Forest in there.
Yeah, and Bournemouth as well.
Really. Yeah,
was Bournemouth.
I mean, I'm intrigued to see where they finish, because I know everyone expects them to finish. You know,
they've done well to be fair.
They are,
I just don't see how they haven't.
Shocking Southampton.
You reckon?
Yeah,
shocking Southampton. I think Southampton are one of the teams you should have spoke about as well for doing really well so far, particularly like Lavia, Benafocha, Kazuna.
I worry about them scoring enough goals. I think Benafocha.
What about Wolves in that sense then?
Wolves ain't going down.
That's good.
Large might lose his job in the next month.
I think he'll be gone at Christmas.
Yeah.
I think before Christmas.
I think that's a really good
Matt's
squad.
talking because he's gonna Arsenal's gonna sign Neto in January.
One goal.
I think that boat's already sailed, to be honest.
The Pedro Neto stuff doesn't get. He averages a goal every 10 games. He's turning.
I don't think it's necessarily that, because that's like, you know, how few goals Wolves score, how few chances he gets and stuff. I don't think that's like any point reading into that. It's more so, I think next summer, if we get Champions League, we'll go all out for someone like a Leao. I'm not saying we'll get him, we probably won't. Maybe Mudryk we've been quite heavily linked with as well. So that's another topic though. So I'll have to wait and see. But I think that's probably sailed.
Yeah, I don't think Wolves will go down, but I think their attack needs to be looked at if they really want to, you know, start to push up there again. Because like everyone goes on about Neto, like you said, but you know, I've got a mate who's a Wolves fan. I said to him, I was like, do you really think Neto is going to score like 10 goals in all competitions this season? Like, he's just not that guy, is he? And they haven't got that striker anymore after Jimenez just isn't the same player anymore. Obviously, the Kalajic news is like horrific, like because I love seeing him play in the Premier League, and I don't know what they think Diego Costa's going to do because he ain't scored any more than 3 goals. I know they're desperate, but like that's not going to work. Like and. Podence is the same, nice, tricky little player, but he's not even scoring 5 goals in all competitions.
The thing is, though, like, I know you say they won't go down. I'm not saying they will, per se. And I'm not saying this because I said they'd go, like, 16th or whatever. But they're currently 17th. And if they get rid of Larg soon, fair enough. And I'm not saying they should, you know, jump Larg out at the first opportunity. But what I am saying is there was quite a lot of talk about pre-season of going to a 4 and things would be a lot better offensively for Wolves because we all know that's...
I just don't think they've got the players. I just don't think they've got the players. I don't think it's the system's problem. I'm not saying Large is doing a good job. If they sacked him tomorrow, I wouldn't argue with the decision. But I think the only way they get dragged into a relegation battle is if they get a long-term injury to one of their centre-backs because they haven't got any depth in that position at all. I mean, Large dropped Neves to centre-back on Saturday rather than bringing on another centre-back. And that says it all. Obviously, no Collins for 3 games is going to be a bit of a struggle, but I think their defensive midfield, providing any injuries, is too good for them to go down. But maybe that's just me being ignorant because I won't say Leicester will go down either. Well, probably just because of name and stature, but
just goals really. Like they just like they haven't. If they get rid of Larg and a new manager comes in and instantly they look like a free flowing team, sure, because obviously they've got unbelievable career.
Did we not say when he came in they were looking much more free flowing?
Yeah, Yeah.
To be fair, the comparison between Nuno and Larg is still going to be like massive. So.
They were good last year though. They just fell off a bit at the end, and that's just carried on into this season. But no manager is getting goals out of that attack. I'm sorry, they're just not.
Yeah.
Like it won't.
That being said, though, for one, was Sarr saving as many shots as he did in that first half of the season actually sustainable? Because he had some stupid records, and I think that's caught up as well.
I think they were 15th or 16th from the XG table last year, and that is alarming. And they don't look great. Maybe they will go down. I don't know. I need to pick a team. We all need to pick a team. What about Fulham then, Terry? Are they still going down for you?
Stay out, just about.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to come top half or anything, but I think they got enough about them.
I reckon like a nice cushy 17th.
I really don't know who to pick here. I don't want to throw Southampton.
At the same time, whilst Fulham are playing well and they've got a decent squad and everything, it is the case of, when the schedule does get busy, one big injury and they could easily go on a really bad run of form. This could happen to any team, of course.
To be fair, with Southampton, I think they've actually sorted, not it's only one position, but they've done really well with centre-back depth now. They've got Celeste Carr, as well as having Salisu and what's his name? Bellicott. That's three top quality centre back options for a team like that, along with other players, obviously attacking wise. But yeah,
I genuinely can't pick a name because all the teams that I would normally throw in are looking all right, and then the teams that I would never think will go down are playing poorly. But part of me thinks they're going to turn it around.
It's a Midlands battle.
You actually reckon Wolves or Villa?
Or
I didn't even mention.
Who's more likely to go down, Villa or Wolves?
There's one other team, Leicester. That's it. Yeah.
I reckon Villa.
Yeah, okay.
I think Villa, yeah, but at the same time, things can it's so hard to predict, like even change our predictions 8 games in, because Gerrard goes 2 weeks' time, Villa get a new manager in, I don't know, they make a good appointment, and they have a really good team. They have a lot of great profiles. They've got Kamara, who's brilliant. They've got Ramsey, who's brilliant. They've got Bailey, who's had horrible injury stuff, but he's a good player. They've got Coutinho, who's obviously good. Watkins, who's really, really... When I say obviously good, I mean obviously talented, not necessarily always consistent, because I don't think he is at all. They've got Watkins, who's, I think, brilliant running the channels, really good number 9 in general. So I don't think they have I just don't think
they've got any sort of system or anything like that. At least with Wolves, you can say they're defensively good still, because they
have opposite problems, don't they? Wolves and Villa. I feel like
I think when it comes to relegation battles, more what you have in attack,
I think Villa just have nothing under Gerrard, to be honest. Yeah, they're so just inconsistent. They're so consistent.
It's not like Villa are leaky as well. They're not like, it's not like Leicester where they're shipping 3 a game, or they look like they're going to score concede 3 a game. It's just like they're just bad.
Somebody throw a name out then, because I generally am absolutely skunked.
I don't know, man. Arsenal.
Is there any chance Brighton's manager goes so badly and they end up falling off massively?
No, it'll be sacked by them.
They're too smart as well. It's too smart of an appointment to fail. They're too smart.
I'm not saying I think he's not going to do well, but I'm just saying if it does go badly, maybe, because their squad's still ain't the best.
You know what? I don't think the fall off will be big at all.
I'm going to say Fulham still. There's no one else to say their name. And I do feel like one big injury and they could very easily go on a bad run of form. We are 6.
See that about any team, though.
Yeah, but if Arsenal get hit with a big injury, it's very sustainable because they've got this player to bring in.
Okay, Arsenal, City, Liverpool, Chelsea, those type. I mean, like a mid-table team or lower mid-table, like a Leicester. If I don't know, Maddison gets an injury, hypothetically, he's had injury problems before.
Well, but they're down there. They're down there anyway. Exactly. But I do think their squad is better. I think they got a better manager as well.
I'm gonna be really boring and just go for Southampton. I don't even think it's gonna happen, but I just looking at those teams, I think they're the most likely.
Southampton have too much quality.
Yeah, but who's going in?
This is
what I think it's that. I just think they look really good.
Opinions like that aren't why we pay you the big bucks, Ethan. We want to hear some controversy.
All right, hear me out.
I'll say Villa.
All right, talk sport.
Leicester too good to go down. I know that's a cliche. They are. West Ham.
I'm not saying Villa.
Wolves for me the same. Palace.
Wolves. I'll go Wolves.
Are Leicester that good though? When you say
they are. Are they
actually that good?
I can't talk about the relegation zone for much longer, lads. I'm going Fulham.
All right, we'll go for Liverpool.
Fulham, Bournemouth, Forest.
Forest, Bournemouth, Southampton. That's such a bad answer.
Villa, it's time to go.
2 Villas is that, or 1 Villa?
It all depends on manager sacking, but yeah.
I'll go Wolves.
Fair enough. That's an interesting one. I'm really intrigued to see how that plays out. We'll go for a top 7 then as well. I think number 1 is going to be City, as much as Matt probably thinks Arsenal are in it. But
no, I don't.
City are first. After that, it gets a bit sticky. At the moment, I've not been impressed with Spurs so far this season, and I know they're getting results, and they might start playing well. And
they should have shipped like 3 against Leicester.
So what I'm trying to say is, as it stands, I want to put Spurs and Chelsea 5th and 6th, because
5th and 6th.
Yeah,
that's why we pay you the money. I like it. No way Tottenham finish outside the top 4. What?
West Ham relegation.
They're nailed on top 4 the way they're playing.
Yeah, of course they are. They're more nailed on than any other team other than City at the minute.
No chance. No way.
How?
Watch them play.
Yes, they're getting results.
Yeah, but is that sustainable? Man. I mean, if
game's about a bucket.
You're not getting it. You're not getting it. Tay's got to get those controversial clicks in to get the clicks in.
Listen,
nothing's controversial when you got Harry Kane. Conte's won this competition before.
If they kick into gear next week and start playing well, I will retract my statement. But if they continue playing like this, they will not continue getting results.
They played a good game against Fulham, good game against Southampton. That's about where it ends.
I hear what Ethan's saying, but like, you can't take away from the fact that they have so much quality. I mean, Kane.
Son hasn't even hit
Spurs using their qualities to beat deep blocks.
No, but just the way they play suit them. I mean, under counter transitions, they are deadly. Like, I'm serious, like deadly.
They're 2 or 3 players away from winning the league.
Of course they are. What if they come across across a deep block, which they're notorious for struggling against? They literally struggle so badly against a deep block.
No, I agree, but this is why I think they are.
I think it's gonna be like a Jose United season, really, for Spurs.
But then he managed to keep that up for so long, but then it was always going to fall apart eventually. I do rate Conte, but I just think if they continue playing the way they are, they won't keep winning games. That's my opinion. If they start playing better, I will retract my statement. I'm going based off their performances in the first 7 games. I think they could miss out on top 4. I'm not saying I think they will. Mate, they're still a better team than us right now. But, if we play like we have in the last 4 for the next 10, and they play like they have for the next 4 and the next 10, we're going to end up being above them in the league, because you can't continue winning games playing like that. I don't think.
I don't think there's much difference the way we've played to the way they've played. I can't lie to you.
Yeah, I guess so. But like, do you think our wins have been unsustainable?
Yeah.
But are we not improving every game? I don't know. Are we not?
We are definitely we are. But like, it's a bit like not scraping, but just like getting through it. Like, there's nothing fancy. I'm still not convinced. Like, we're not scoring more than 1 goal. Like, Spurs score 3 goals a game, basically.
Yeah,
like,
I hear that.
We have to keep a clean sheet every single time. It's not really sustainable.
You do have the deepest line in the league, to be fair, or something along those lines. I remember seeing rough, which is another mental stat.
Well, he's clearly just realised that the team is we're not capable of playing the way he wants to play straight away. He's just got to adapt to it. But what about Chelsea then?
I think Chelsea. I think Chelsea will come.
They'll be there. They'll be 4th.
Yeah.
I think
Chelsea could be 18th with 3 games.
So Tay, you said earlier you're getting top 4.
No, we're not.
You're not. Right. I think that's more outrageous.
That's more outrageous.
Be totally honest with me. How many Liverpool games have you sat down and watched? Like, obviously they have clashed and stuff. How many Liverpool games?
A fair amount.
I watched the Napoli game.
I watched the Fulham game. Watched the Palace game. Who else you had? I watched our game, obviously. Didn't watch Bournemouth. Watched Everton. Watched Newcastle. I've watched enough Liverpool games. I know you've been terrible. I know you have. But you always
there's no signs of improvement in any game. From one game
to the next.
Do you not think
you give the benefit of the doubt for a team who's been so good for so long, particularly how much better you can be with Thiago? If you get another injury to Thiago, fair enough. But do you not think that plays a big part?
I'm not getting on their backs. They played about 155 games last year, but like there's not enough there in the squad. This isn't silly old Liverpool. They'll turn it around. This isn't like that anymore. I'm on the verge of tears.
I think the last 20 minutes has shown why it's probably too early in the season to try and re-predict your predictions. But
Yeah, I don't even know what I'm saying.
Yo, take kills me on.
No, because I
It's
genuinely,
just vibes.
I genuinely don't
I
know.
hate vibes.
I think looking at it now, Arsenal are nailed on for top 4. I think Spurs are nailed on for top 4. City are probably going to win the league. But then you got like United, Chelsea, Liverpool. Who knows, man?
United, yeah,
This is
United.
the beauty. This is the beauty of football. This is why we love
Fulham
it.
top 4 charge.
Top 4 in the Championship next year. Talk to me.
I'm surprised you're not slightly more optimistic to me. I'm probably going to put us 5th, but we've surprised me a lot.
So if
I'm so much more confident now of our chances at top 4 than I was when we recorded the preview episode.
Well, it's probably because I know we play City next. I don't know.
Yeah, true.
To be fair, City's the perfect type of team to play for.
If Liverpool miss out on top 4, would you boys all genuinely be shocked?
No,
Depends.
No, so
I wouldn't be. Like if I could teleport to May,
I would be shocked. Yeah, I'd be shocked with the team of Trent, Alisson, Van Dijk, Robertson.
Yeah, but I do
Salah.
hear if you watch them play, they do.
Yeah,
I just think
but he's asking me, would I be shocked? Yeah, I would be shocked with the team.
Even now,
have.
Even now,
what do you say?
Based on
if we finish if we finish 5th, man,
I still think over the season they'll just put it together. Maybe just I don't know. I'm just giving the benefit of the doubt. But
that's what I mean. That's a status thing, Daniel. Going off status.
You don't think you own?
I just feel like.
Yeah, so that's a fair point with players, I guess.
I don't know, man. I feel like with United, it's more of a case of like hope and like just like team spirit. You know, there's no real yet like sustaining attacks. Like Liverpool still sustain attacks. That's the thing that gets me.
We don't.
You do.
We've had like shots on target wise. I've had about 4 in the first half all season. That is not sustainable. Like there's not enough goals in our team, but there was no midfield. There was no flow through this, and fullbacks aren't getting assists.
I think Thiago is very important to your team. So
he has to be our best player. If this is us without him, then like. He has to be our best player.
I think that's due to the thing is though you've built the system so heavily so he suits you. So he's like necessity, but you don't have a backup to him.
But it wasn't like that last year. It was almost like people were saying we were shoehorning him in. And now it's, we need him. I don't know if anyone knows what we actually need.
No, I think he's always been very key to you.
I need to cut to the chase because we are overrunning. Tay, I want a top 7 in order.
I don't know, man. Man City, Spurs, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, Man United. I don't even care. Brighton.
Email.
City.
Say it. I'm joking.
Arsenal. Tottenham, Liverpool, Chelsea. Chelsea, United. United 6th.
That's what I mean. I don't want to put a 6th. I think we've been good enough in his first 6 games and not.
I don't think he finished 6th though. Chelsea might finish 6th.
I don't think Chelsea again top 4.
Chelsea 6th, United 5th, Brighton. I'll go 7th.
Matt.
I mean, I'll guess I'll have to start with Arsenal top now. City. I'll go with us, but things can change. Not like I think things will change in a negative way for us. So, the way we're playing is really sustainable, etc. But I don't want to just write off Liverpool. I don't want to, but at the time, it's just so hard to say.
Matt, you do this thing that kills me. I did it when Liverpool were in title races. You like to pretend you think you're not, and you're not excited, but you're gassed. You're so gassed, but you're like, nah, we're not going to win.
I am, but I'm not like, I'm obviously, I'm going to enjoy, when I said after we beat Fulham, I'm going to enjoy myself, I'm going to enjoy every win. I'm going to enjoy
You're writing speeches
as it goes.
Game week 4. No matter what happens, as long as we enjoy ourselves.
No, because I've seen people get so like that irritating about like we're gonna lose a game, like it happens, like it's just but anyways, not motivational speech number 2. I'll go for to be honest, I'm really surprised you boys have fully written off Chelsea in top 4. I think they're shoe-ins. I think City, Arsenal,
based on what?
Chelsea. I think
Chelsea 3rd.
Yeah.
I need to see Potter in them suits.
Low-key Liverpool, then Spurs, and then United. But honestly, it's so hard to call. Things can change.
I'm going.
There's no way you put Chelsea above Spurs based on what?
Based on quite a lot, to be honest.
I'm with DeMille. Top position for position, Tottenham almost wiped the floor with Chelsea.
Yeah, but that's not how football works.
And they've got.
I think the thing is, the whole thing is right with football. I feel like people love like not combined 11s, like comparisons and stuff. But ultimately, if I don't know, Chelsea go beat Southampton, Newcastle, Leicester, Villa, etc., doesn't matter how good their team is or anything. If they get that amount of points, sorted. They always find a way in as well. Chelsea, they're very inevitable.
Chelsea
you
sit
like
I think
you sit the word if in there, though.
I think Potter's a saviour appointment, to be honest.
I'd
love Tuchel as well, but
I'd be surprised. I'm gonna go City by 10 to 12 points. Arsenal second. So say City 92 points. Arsenal 8. What? No, I'm just putting it into perspective here, right?
Get over yourself, man.
Well, how is that outrageous?
Outrageous! I can't believe it. The bias
Right.
is showing.
Arsenal 80. Liverpool 77. Spurs 75.
We've got 7.
Spurs 75. United 71. Chelsea 70. So it's close.
No way.
But Chelsea. No, but to be fair, with United, you've got it deep. They go from 5th. I know they had a horror season last year, and it could have been worse.
United are not
5 points to 70.
Yeah, how much did you say? 75 points again?
71.
United are not touching
points.
70 points, man.
We'll see.
That means like what?
I think
the person in 7th and 8th have like what?
40. All right. That was just like point gap sort of thing. So if you want to lower it by 5 or 8, do that. But
could just say as well, by the way, I didn't really give a proper rating for the Chelsea thing. I think the thing is, it's so tailor-made, that team for Potter. Like they're quite similar, to be fair. Obviously, Styles is ideal. If they were to get rid of Tuchel, it makes sense to go with a style in that sense. I think Fofana working with Cucurella again. I think certain players, particularly short term as well, will really benefit from Potter. Obviously, you've seen what Potter can do with a lesser squad or even lesser names, certain names, really bring him in the fold. I'm very excited to see, from a neutral perspective, Chelsea's youth, and I think Broha as well is another who I think should be an undoubted starter, at least for Chelsea at the moment. But I just think they're very good, particularly like Sterling. I think they're a very good side. The pivot, the midfield is always the issue for me, but yeah, I think it's just tailor-made, and yeah.
I still don't know if they're scoring enough goals.
If Chelsea finish above Tottenham, I'll wear a Man United shirt on one of the podcasts. How about that? Not going to happen.
Yeah, but just bear in mind, my predictions at the start of the season were, I think I put like 3 points between Arsenal, Tottenham and Chelsea, and it almost is still like that, and it's so difficult to just make guesses at this point of the season.
If Ethan thinks the top 6 are going to have a combined 300 points.
I don't... like 4th spot is normally on about like 72.
No, it's not. It's like 69.
That's not much in it.
69.
No, I'd say about 70.
65. I think 65 actually.
I mean, that
no
was
way
an
65
season. United got second one season with 72, I think, or 74.
Yeah, 65 gets you top 4 in like the last 3 seasons, I think.
No,
that's free.
Last season we got like 70 and missed out. I'm pretty sure. So
there was a time where the Ollie where we got like 60 something points, and we finished 3rd or something like that.
I don't know. I just think, I don't know why you think it's outrageous for everyone to get 70 points, but I don't know. We'll see. I don't know why you find it so funny. I'm actually baffled. Like,
I don't know if United have. I don't think United have it.
Let's wrap this up, man. I can't.
So 70 points, right? Is 21 wins and 7 draws.
Look at him go.
what is he?
Man,
How is 21 wins and 7 draws that unrealistic?
But do you not think you put it more practically?
You got to lose games as well.
Points.
Yeah, so that's 10 losses, isn't it? Yeah. 21 wins, 7 draws, 10 losses.
I think 16 points. That's a lot of points just to go up.
What's that?
That's 16 odd points of an increase in a season.
Yeah, last season we were like the worst ever.
Yeah, of course, granted. And to be fair, you should have got last season. Like even
Hey,
less.
I want to
last
know.
season, but-
I want to know how 21 wins and 7 draws and 10 losses is that outrageous.
I'm not the one it's Tay, mate.
Does
Yeah, I know.
anyone who finishes on 70 points ever lose 10 games?
Well, that's
Surely not.
21 wins is 63 points, plus 7 is 70, and that leaves 10 losses.
Well, and you think, well, who was at United?
I can't remember now.
And you had them finishing what, 6th,
5th.
5th. Yeah, man.
I'm so confused.
Chelsea got 67 to be fair.
It's just the strongest league. Like, look at where Fulham are now. Like, jokes aside, look at where Fulham are now. I think it's the strongest the league's ever been. I don't think the big teams are going to take that many, as many points as they have done over the past few years. But
Maybe.
No easy game in the Premier League. Remember, people who are waiting for us for our big test against Tottenham.
I've just got the table up, and I don't know why you're laughing at me, honestly. Last season, Chelsea 74, Tottenham 71, Arsenal 69.
he brought the receipts.
I think it's more just the jump than anything. Like getting that amount of goals, particularly the way you're playing as well at the moment. Like you're playing well, but you are winning games 1-0 as well.
if United
not a 4-0 job.
If United get 70 points, finish 5th, but lose 10 games, is that a successful season?
It depends what we do another I don't know what losing 10 games. We need to wrap this up. I'm actually my head is absolutely fried. It is late. But, yeah, that is enough for today.
That is enough.
He's got
brilliant
for human tonight.
Anyway, we're having a conversation off camera, by the way. Anyway, thank you very much for listening as always. Sorry about that ridiculous ending. I don't know what's gone into today. Anyway, let me know if 70 points for Manchester United is really that outrageous with 10 losses and 7 draws. Let me know if that really is outrageous. But yeah, thanks for listening as always. Check us out on social media at TM4Pod on Twitter. You can find all the links that are there for our other social media platforms as well. Hope you have a good rest of your week, and we'll see you for the next one.